welcome back to the Weekly Download, the show where we break down global chaos, local tea, and why your wallet feels lighter even when you didn't buy anything extra. So grab your wallet, your receipts, and your copy of the SIB Consumer Price Index. Let the download commence.
This show is sponsored by Ignite Media.
So, quick reminder tonight. Math is not just trauma. Math has range. The American Mathematical Society featured artist Hamid Nadiri Yaganeh, who creates art using actual equations. Not sketches, not vibes, equations. This man made birds, hearts, butterflies using millions of line segments and thousands of circles. One piece, 1 million lines. Because when you're good at math, you don't doodle, you calculate a bird. There's a heart made entirely out of trigonometry, which honestly checks out because love is irrational, overcomplicated, and never solved on the first try. And the wild part, he runs a program on Linux and just lets the Mac cook. So while some of us panic about opening Excel, this man is like, watch me turn cosine into a butterfly. The lesson, math isn't boring, it's misunderstood. You didn't hate math. Math just never showed you its soft, artistic side. And honestly, if algebra looked like this, we'd all have passed. So, remember when the US said TikTok was a national security threat and needed to be banned immediately? Yeah, about that. No, TikTok is staying just with an American-only version. American investors, American servers, but the algorithm still chilling in Beijing. So basically, the US said we don't trust China with our data, but we do trust the app that got us elected. Trump went from TikTok is dangerous to I saved TikTok real quick because apparently democracy runs on edits, dances, and vibes. Meanwhile, Belizeans watching this like, so the app's safe now or just politically convenient? Either way, scroll responsibly because geopolitics is officially living on your For You page. All right, Belize. Here's the tea from this week. Protesters stormed BTL headquarters over the proposed BTL SpeedNet deal. Police had to drop tear gas and pepper spray. So yeah, it got spicy. But let's pause. This isn't some street showdown. There's a real issue. Telecom monopoly and transparency. If BTL swallows SpeedNet or Smart, one company could control most of your internet and phone lines. Basically your data, your calls, your memes, all under one roof, which is way too much power considering how reliant we are and how reliant we will continue being in telecoms. This one deal can revolutionize the way we communicate, if done poorly or properly. The UDP and some trade unions are saying we can't let this happen without proper checks. The PUC is still deciding, and a provisional vote got cancelled. Keep following the story, besties. Now, let's bring it home. Locally, Belizeans are feeling inflation most in places where we can't avoid. Food, transportation, utilities, and rent. Transportation costs are up, whether it's fuel, bus fares, or vehicle maintenance. And when transportation cost rises, everything else follows. Because goods don't teleport to the shelves. Rent and housing costs are also creeping up, especially in urban areas. Wages, however, moving at the speed of dial-up internet. The result is that people aren't necessarily buying more, they're paying more for the same things. And that's the most frustrating part. What would have costed you $100 in 2019 could cost you $119 in 2024. Now it's just $19, right? Okay. Well, your paycheck that was $1,500 is only worth $1,224 now. That is $276 less. What budget item is that? Here's where we zoom out. Inflation isn't just about prices going up today. It's about what happens over time when incomes don't keep pace. At first, inflation feels annoying. Then it feels uncomfortable. Eventually, it becomes this daunting reality, and you're saying, I remember when chokis me cost $1. You start cutting small things, eating out less, skipping snacks, and delaying purchases. Then, you start delaying bigger things, like moving out, going back to school, starting a business, and saving seriously. Over time, inflation quietly reshapes behavior and even ambitions. People take on side hustles, not for ambition, but for survival. Saving goals turn into maybe next year. Emergencies become crises because there's no buffer. And here's the long-term issue. Inflation doesn't just affect money. It affects opportunity. When young people can't save, can't invest, and can't plan long-term, it delays independence and widens inequality. Those who already have assets adjust. Those who don't fall further behind. Inflation is basically a slow leak in the tire of daily life. You can keep driving for a while, but eventually, something gives. So, when people say, why are you complaining? Things aren't that bad. Remember, inflation isn't loud. It's gradual. It shows up in the choices you stop making. Understanding it doesn't fix it overnight, but it does help us make smarter decisions, ask better questions, and demand policies that actually protect everyday people. Always check your change, besties. Download complete.
The views and opinions expressed in the weekly download are solely those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Ignite Limited.